Welcome back everyone, Ryan Monetize here. In today's video we're going over Bitcoin and I am so excited to make this video. I am going to be showing you guys some unbelievable correlations that I am telling you are going to leave you absolutely stunned. And I'm telling you right now, there is no one else right now that sees the correlation that I am going to be sharing with you today. So 30 minutes ago, I was like, okay, I need to get all of my funds, move it into exchanges, and get ready to buy the dip, which we're already dipping. But before I was dilly-dallying with the charts, I was like, okay, I think Bitcoin's going to go lower. I think we're gonna get to the $62,000 range if we break support there, maybe in the $58,000 range. But after I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna show you right now, my plan is to finish this video. I'm doing this out of order. I should have my priorities a little bit better. And I'm gonna be moving all of my money, every practically last dollar I have, and buying Bitcoin here at this level. So before I get started, I would like to remind you that if you would like to get free Bitcoin every single day, you have to download the Folds app. So I'm gonna have a link down below. Every day you get to spin the wheel, a little bit of a casino hit, you get some free Satoshis. You can also get their free card, you could also pay for their card, and every time you make a purchase, you get to also spin the wheel. I feel like I can't talk because I'm really excited about what I'm gonna show you right now, but this is wild. Okay, so I'm gonna first show you what I was first seeing on the charts and why I was going to make the decision I was making. I'm also gonna be going into why I see Bitcoin hitting $100,000 pre-halving. I made a video about that a few days ago, but I'm gonna be going over it again today. So what I'm gonna show you, I would say now, reinforces my $100,000 prediction pre-halving. Okay, so let's go ahead and head over to Bitcoin here. Let me delete this. So, I was looking here at the charts and I was looking at the daily chart and I was looking at the support here at this moving average. I'm like, okay, this could be a good buying opportunity. You see the swing low of this candle, the low of this candle, 59,121. As you could see, I could see it, in the next few days, kind of hitting in that range and also being supported by that moving average. Okay, so if you want to know that moving average right there, the blue one is the, let's see, the 48. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put some buy orders over here at like 58, 59. But then I was also willing to put some at like the $60,000 range. But then I saw this. Okay, so we're gonna go down memory lane back to 2020 when Bitcoin had its halving. In my previous video, I showed you the very strange correlation, okay? If you remember, this is what I mentioned in my previous video. Let's see, if you wanted to have like the perfect buying opportunity on Bitcoin pre-halving, then it would have been right over here, right? The low of this candle on March 13th was $38,058, okay? Which came in, what is that? That is approximately how many days before the halving? That is gonna be 59 days before the halving. So if you look at Bitcoin recently, and you look at a great buying opportunity where you're basically just straight up from there, it came right over here on January 23rd. Did you hear what I just said? I said 38, what did I say, 38.53? The low of this candle here on January 23rd, 38,527. Weird correlation, right? 3,800, perfect buying opportunity, previous market cycle before the halving. Then we're talking about pre-halving this market cycle, best buying opportunity, $38,000, okay? And I'm putting it into the perspective of basically you are getting the last low before Bitcoin pops off. Where it was basically, you really were not, if you bought that day, you were in a winning position every single day after that, okay? And let's go ahead and see here how many days that was pre-halving. So let's see, the halving is set to come in April 15th. That could, I think, maybe change slightly. So April 15th here, that is 83. Okay, so a little bit of difference there, right? The buying opportunity came in 83 days before, if we continue to have similar price action. And then when it came to the previous market cycle, it was 59 days. Okay, so there is a difference there, right? About 24 days or so. I consider price and time. I think they're both really important things to consider. Okay, so let's go back to 2020. Stick with me here, I'm telling you gotta stick with me. So, right here, on April 7th, okay, I believe this is 29 days. Let's see, so the high of here, yes. So, the high on April 7th, this is 34 days. Do I have this correct? So let's see here. Just want to make sure. High. Okay. So you could see here on Monday, April 6th, 7th, and 8th. Okay. Bitcoin, the highs of all of these days were anywhere between $73 and $7,400. Okay. And that came in approximately between 30 and 34 days pre-halving. Okay, so you bought at 3,800. Okay, I'm saying if you're trading perfectly, you're selling over here at about 7,400, and then you want to buy back in before Bitcoin takes off again. If you're buying at the perfect opportunity, then you're buying here at the low of this candle on April 16th of $6,456. All right, well, what's so weird about that? That's approximately 1 month before the halving. And what do we see over here? The high of this candle, almost $74,000. And where do we see a pullback today? The low of today's candle is 62. So 74 and 62. We are looking at very, very similar numbers, okay? So, very strange. Bitcoin tops here about a month before the halving, around 7,400. What do we see Bitcoin do the past few days? Top around 74,000. We now saw a pullback. We are now sitting at 64,500. Okay, and you can see over here, Bitcoin had a low of 64.56. Okay, if you're looking from a percentage perspective, right, that's basically the same thing. So you take the top over here. This was a approximately 13.5% pullback. What are we currently seeing on a pullback here on Bitcoin? Let's see. Price range from about 74,000 down to about 62. We're looking at about a 15% pullback. So we've seen similar percentage-wise pullbacks, and we're seeing a very strange correlation in numbers, right? A month before the halving, Bitcoin tops around 7,400 with a pullback down to $62,000 range. So the low of today was 62,339. Something very similar happened, right? So we just saw 74, we come back to 72. 4 years ago, we saw Bitcoin run to 7,400 and pull back to about 63, 6,400. So we are seeing a very strange correlation in numbers here. So after I saw that, you know, I must say that the longer that I've been in Bitcoin, the more short-term bearish I am, because you see Bitcoin have these massive pullbacks in short periods of time, even in bull runs, right? We see in bull runs, we see Bitcoin pull back 15, 20, 25%. That's a very common thing. And so I would say that the older I've gotten, the longer I've been in the space, the more short-term. I'm always leaning more short-term bearish. Like, it's just because I know the possibility that Bitcoin can pull back at any time and quite dramatically. Long term, I am super bullish. I only get more and more bullish long term the longer I'm in the space, but the longer I'm in the space, the more short term bearish I am, if that makes any sense. I think it's just becoming comfortable and understanding the risk of Bitcoin's pullbacks. So at first I was going to be a little extra patient and look to buy Bitcoin back over here in the 60, 62, 60, so between $60,000 and $62,000, but after looking at the very strange correlation of what we saw 4 years ago, I think it's time to get back in. And so what I am doing is I am basically scrapping up the last of the dollars I have, and my plan is to basically go all in. It already feels like I'm all in on Bitcoin. Do I have other investments? Yes, of course I have my business and I have money set aside to do options trading. I'm not really looking to do a ton of trading when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. I save my trading energy for options, okay? And I focus on just stacking my pile of Bitcoin because I think that's where it's worth it. So, I think that in the short term, like I have my money set aside of where I do my options trading and I'm good with the amount that I have there. But when it comes to my long-term Bitcoin position, I rather add to that at the time because there's this beautiful pullback on Bitcoin. I think we're gonna see strength going into the halving. But just so that you have a reminder, I think it's important to look back here at the previous market cycle and what Bitcoin did. So this right here is May 11th. This candle right here, May 11th. That was the halving. So as you can see, Bitcoin topped May 7th, 4 days prior to the halving. It continued to have a pullback. It had a 4-candle correction. And if you bought on the day of the halving, Bitcoin had a great pullback. It was an excellent entry point, in my opinion. If you don't mind holding a little bit of sideways action for several months, that might happen again. It kind of also correlates with the good old saying, sell in May and go away. So you could have held it for a few months, and then in July, Bitcoin basically then started the run. And it was, you had a little bit of a pullback there, pretty much up from there. This is the thing. The atmosphere of the crypto space is a little bit different, and I don't mind holding my Bitcoin position here because I don't want to try to time it perfectly. I just want to be in. I do not mind holding a position that trades sideways for several months because I don't want to have to try to make the perfect guess on when Bitcoin is done trading sideways. I don't mind holding for that period of time. For me, if I was trying to time when Bitcoin's done trading sideways, I would be losing sleep at night, it'd be taking over my mental space, I would probably not guess correctly, okay? I don't trust myself to guess that correctly. So instead, I'll buy over here, and I will hold while Bitcoin consolidates. I have no problem doing that because I don't really want the stress of trading it. So that is what I see happening with Bitcoin. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I just noticed this correlation, and I honestly was like going to be so particular on an entry point on Bitcoin. I was going to look for an upwards trend on the 1 hour chart. I was not seeing enough strength here and obviously it can still go lower, and I have really no problem with that. Even if I buy Bitcoin here and it goes to $58,000, $60,000, I'm still okay with that. I just don't really mind at this point because I'm not going to time the market perfectly. But before I saw this weird correlation of Bitcoin topping at 7,400 and then 74,000 and then pulling back between 62 and 6,400 and then 62 and 64,000, I was going to wait here for Bitcoin to make a higher high on the hourly chart, wait for a pullback and jump in. The hourly chart is not really showing any bullish signs yet. We did obviously have a bounce off of this low here of 62.2. A pretty decent bounce, I would say. And so Bitcoin isn't technically, in my opinion, looking bullish on these lower level time frames, but that's okay. I think I'm still willing to take the risk and get in. And I've never done things conventional, and any like legit trader would be looking at this video and being like, that's terrible, that's not how you read charts. Like, I understand, but I've been making videos about Bitcoin having this weird price action when you compare two different market cycles, and the same thing of like, you know, it topping at 54,000, and then when you look back 4 years prior, it was topping it had its pullback at 5,400, and then, you know, you see it pull back to like 4,200 or 42,000. This is not the first time I've seen this on the Bitcoin chart. No one ever talks about it. But if it plays out, and I am willing to make a bet on this. And like I said, if Bitcoin goes down to 60, even $52,000, I believe that we're still in a bull run, and it will make up for it later. And the difference between buying at 50 and 60 when Bitcoin is $500,000, who cares? I really don't mind there. So This is a daily chart here, also like not looking great in a downwards trend. Let's see the 12-hour here. 12-hour not looking so good, almost looking like it wants to, like I said, run over here to the 52 after it has closed below that moving average. And then once we look at the 4-hour, we're seeing a little bit of a bump here, a little bit of a strength off of this moving average. So it looks decent, but like I said, I was really going to be focusing on Bitcoin making a higher high on the hourly chart. And so I don't know if I'm going to be patient enough for that, but I also have to transfer my funds over. And with the bank that most of my funds are in right now, I'm like, oh, the odds of them possibly shutting down my account are pretty high. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get over my funds fast enough, but I'm definitely going to make an attempt to do so. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, check out my link down below for the Fold app. You can get free Bitcoin every single day by spending nothing. And you can get a free card and get a spin every single time that you make a purchase. A really fun way. When I don't have the card anymore, but when I did, I was like, well, this is such in addition to my day. It was like such a fun thing. Like it was actually a little bit dangerous because I'm like, oh, I want to spend my money with this card so that I can then get a free spin. And you know, I just always love a good gambling situation. So that's all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear of what you think about my weird correlation that I made on the charts. And if you agree, disagree, see something else that I'm missing, would love to hear in the comments down below. That is all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love. I am out of breath and a little bit high on life right now.